Hello everyone, a warm welcome. Thank you for joining me. We're now going to start on snippet 32. We've done snippet 31 with our stag and we're going to continue with the stag. So I'm going to use the stag stamp, the stamp that I used in the previous snippet, so stamp set 805, and we're going to use the stag once again. And I'm also going to use the fallen leaves once again, #06. And I'm going to be using these a few times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up the stag with black ink. And what I'm doing is I'm using a VersaFine Clair that is about 3 months old. So it's important that you use an ink pad that isn't as juicy as it is when it's brand new. So one that you've used quite a few times. So I've used my Nocturne, my VersaFine Clair, and I'm going to use this stamp here from 806. And I'm just going to take that stamp, whoops, and I'm just going to press that onto the stag and just give that a firm press. You don't add any ink to the stamp, you don't add any ink to this stamp. And then I'm just going to stamp this here on my 4 by 6 inch piece of card. Around about there, yeah, that's fine. So we'll just add that then and we'll allow that to soak into the card as we always do. Just give that time just to soak into there. Sort of don't rush your stamping, but obviously we're going for a different look this time to our stag. Can lift this up, lift your acrylic block up again, and once again. There we go, beautiful. And what you can see is we've got the foliage on the stag, which makes it look a little bit different, and I adore it. So what I want you to do then is I'm only going to do one part of this because obviously I can't spend the whole time colouring. So what I want you to do is use the colours we used in the previous video. So I'm going to use old paper. I'm going to take a bit of the old paper and I'm just going to go around the stag. Now I'm only going to do one small area just to show you what I want you to do. I want you to go all the way around the stag. I've got one already done, but when we've only got sort of 15 minutes, you can't spend the whole time colouring. So I want you to use the old paper and then I want you to go to the salvaged patina. So you go all the way round your stag. Then I want you to use the salvaged patina and just don't cover all the previous colour up. So you're just building your layers of colour up. And obviously you will take your time and build those layers up. And then what I want you to do is go with a touch of the Mermaid Lagoon. Now Mermaid Lagoon is a very strong colour, so you only need a little tiny touch. And I just want you to go right in at the edges with the Mermaid Lagoon. Mermaid Lagoon. So I want you to do that all the way over the stag so that you end up with this. So you then colour all the way round your stag so that it pops. And you've got that one. If you make 2, you've got one for a Christmas card. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to use my pheasant stamp and I'm going to use this heart here. So I'm going to take the pheasant. And I could do with a smaller acrylic block than that really. So let's just move the stag off there. This is where I end up with stamps everywhere. So we're just going to take the pheasant and it's just the heart that I want that's on his tail, just on his tail. So I'm just going to add the strings, which really don't matter if I don't get it perfect. And then I want, there we go. So it doesn't matter if I don't get it perfect. And then I want lumberjack plaid. And I'm going to add the lumberjack plaid just to the heart. And again, don't worry if it's not perfect. And then I'm just going to add, make sure you can see me there. So I'm just using the pheasant and the heart on the tail, just to add a little heart to my project. I'll just at least move that out the way because we end up with stuff everywhere. So you've just got the little heart on there. And then what I'm going to do, take it up Tracy, is I'm going to use my undergrowth stencil 162. And I'm going to use one of the little birds. There it is, so just place that down there. So I'm going to use one of the little birds. And what I'm not going to be able to find is the little tiny piece of cut and dry foam. You can bet your bottom dollar. I had a lovely piece of thin cut and dry foam and it was just perfect. And of course now Tracy can't find that little piece of cut and dry foam. Oh dear me, let's find another piece of cut and dry foam. There we go. So I've got another piece of cut and dry foam and I'm just going to use this stencil here and I'm just going to go for that bird and I'm going to use my cut and dry foam just to add a little bit of black through the bird. So then I've got a little bird just there. So let's just add a little bit more black. There we go. So I've got my little bird just on there. Just so you can see, my little bird is on there as well. So it works quite nicely. And then I'm going to use, like I did in the previous video, my miniatures just to use some of the background stamp. And again, I'm going to use that grey ink because that grey ink just then appears in the background. Let's move some of this out of the way. So I'm using my Morning Mist VersaFine Clair. I'm just going to stamp the first layer on there and just add the second generation stamping. I want it to appear in the background and that's why I'm adding the first generation to a piece of paper and then the second generation to my card. Again, first generation and then bring my second generation to the card. I want it to appear in the background and not too overpowering on my design, and just so it coordinates beautifully with the first project. There we go. Let's move those out of the way. Talk about hot up here, just so that you can see that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white gel pen, which half again, what you shouldn't do is have so much stuff lying around like I have at the moment. So let's take a gel pen and just add a few little touches of white to my project. There we go. And then I'll just take move those out the way just so that we can see. There we go. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of shading to my heart and just blend that out. Let's just make sure we haven't got any blue on there, and just shade a little bit of that heart out, just so it's got a little bit of shading. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of shading just right next to the stag, and just bring a little bit of shading just around there. I'm then going to use my Posca pen just to add some white splatters. And really there's no point adding it all the way around the card because, you know, it won't be seen. So I'm sort of adding it to the stag and the bird. Just going to add a little bit more white. When that's dry, I'll add a little bit more white as well, just so that it's a little bit brighter. I've then got my Winter Wishes, which I had in Snippet 31, which again is from the Stag stamp set. So the Winter Wishes is from the Stag stamp set. And I'm just going to add my Winter Wishes here. I just love how the stag looks lovely with the foliage stamped onto it. It just looks wonderful. Just add the Winter Wishes there. Just making sure that's straight, because we can easily sort of make a mistake and it's not straight. Really, you would wait for things to dry. You wouldn't try and do things like I'm trying to do when they're still wet, because you're just asking for trouble. So let's just blend that out, just so we've got that shading, just so that you can see that shading. And then I've used, let's just bring that in, I've then used my Garden Mix Tagged stamp set 899, and then I can add my 32. Obviously, if you're making a card from it, you don't add the 32. You could add 25 for the 25th of December, not on the side, obviously, to your card. And that will be added to there, like so. And then if we bring in our snippet book and add this here, you can see that we've got Snippet 31, and I just added a little bit more foliage. I decided I wanted it a bit fuller. So you can see Snippet 31, and this will be Snippet 32. And I think they are beautiful Christmas cards that you're not, you know, you want classy, quality Christmas cards that don't take you forever, because if you're doing them en masse and you need to do 100, but I think those are beautifully classy. And I'm going to be using the stag again in snippet number 33 and 34, but just so that you can see that. I just think those are beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed snippet 32, and I can't wait to see your interpretation. Love to all. I'll place this down so you can see it. Love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.